let's get XRPMan.
Let's get demand the
back
XRPMan in the hot seat. Here we go.
Now, I would love to hear what you are. First of all, I will say this. Opti wants you to circle back on how you met Val Kilmer. She wanted you to talk about that a little bit more. If you just touch on that a little bit more. But then you're working on so many different things within the XRP community. Like I said, you're so talented. What do you got on your plate right now?
Well, I don't know if it's so much talent as it is hard work. So, yeah. So, nothing I've ever done came natural. So and I have negative blood, but I'm a righty. So my imagination, I'm really good at taking other people's ideas and making it reality. So my imagination may not be so great. I do have passion though, and that more plays into my music. So I carry a mic around everywhere I go. And so I'll be at a red light and I'll get an idea and I've got different tools that I can make, kind of like FL Studio. As a matter of fact, you can get that on your phone if you don't know that. Yep. But so I'll make beats and songs just sitting at a job site, and before you know it, I've got a new song, and I've been doing that so many years, and I really didn't even release them. But so what's going on right now? There's a lot of things going on. I'm in the background with a lot of people with different ideas. In the forefront, I'm finishing up an NFT collection for Christmas, and I really can't say anything here, but you guys know them. You'll find out. I had to learn how to put music into a mintable NFT, but I'm finished. I'll learn how to do that. So yeah, as far as current projects, I've got a lot of stuff going on. I really can't speak about any of it right now that I can think of. I'm constantly. I'd like to shout out to Boo. A lot of people don't know how close he and I are, and we're from different worlds. Honestly, and I don't want to get into that, but we're really close, and we've known each other since the first day. So we've got some collabs. He's a real good guy. So yeah. And another that nobody even knows about this guy. It's so strange, but it's because he's from Canada and he speaks French Canadian. But his name is V4X, and it's Victory for XRP is who he is, and he uses an anonymous mask. But I'd like to shout out to him because nobody knows who he is, but he's a very talented guy, very loyal person. So yeah, I don't know I can't really say what I'm working on right now, but let's just say I'm working on a lot of stuff.
We're going to love it when it comes out, right?
Well, I mean, I hope so. I'll do my best. I'll tell you that. I'll put in some hours. So what some people might say is talent, it's just hours, not giving up.
Yep. It's great.
I think, hey, look, I think I was brought to the XRPL, and I don't want to get, okay, so you asked about Val Kilmer. Can I answer that?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so like I said, I've always made music. Okay. When I was probably 20 years old, I was in the club and performing, and I was on my way to meet. Like I was supposed to go down to Baton Rouge and meet Mystical. And
what?
I'm all like, wait a minute. Who are you? Who are you?
Well, okay,
oh my goodness, that's cool.
Look, I'm nobody. Okay. So let's just say this.
You're not nobody. Okay? Let's say that.
No. This is okay. Just hear me. Okay. So I'm nobody. I'm not bragging. You're asking me. I don't go into spaces. Nobody knows these things about me. But there's nobody else that really knows much about me. So you're asking me questions, so I'm answering them. But I asked a long time ago when I was really young to be used by God. And so, and I truly, faithfully believe that. So all these little things that happened to me were just me being a servant. So before I start bragging on myself, all these things that I did were for him and not for me.
Gotcha.
So just so you know that.
Amen.
Yeah.
I love it.
So yes, he was very kind to me because I had a real rough upbringing. You could probably tell from the look on my face. I'm not angry. This is just how I look. So, um, but I always was used by him, and he was always very kind to me. And so, I always asked, no matter how difficult it was, I just have a good spirit, and I just feel like I have a warrior spirit, and I just feel like I'm being used. I mean, the guy that told me about crypto is a Marine Corps sniper. I mean, he's my best friend, and he calls me sir. So if that tells you anything, he was black ops too. Like he was trained in things that nobody could. I can't even tell you about his story, but it's an absolute fact. He comes in spaces and testifies for me. But so I'm nobody. I'm just used by him. Um, I mean, that's just it is what it is.
Love
So
it.
I'm nobody.
You're nobody that did quite a bit, though, huh?
I think
Where you?
I just had the right skills to do this. Just so happens the things that are worthless in the world. So let's go back to Val Kilmer. So the way I met him, so I don't take up your whole show. The way I met him in 2008, I had some music that was online, and I was just going around like I had become friends somehow with like Martin Lawrence, and it was a big deal. If you remember MySpace, it was everybody had best friends who were celebrities, and you were just trying to get their top friend spot. Well, I had a few poems that I had written, and I kept posting poems because I knew that Val Kilmer went to Juilliard Academy, so he was like a poet, and he was theatrical, where I'm not theatrical. So I posted a poem. Well, I got a direct message from him, and it said that that was the best poem that was ever sent to me, and or in this space. And my friend and I, Mick Rossi, want to make a song. And do you mind if I use a song? Okay. So, I'm sorry, somebody came in. So, I told him, yes, of course, you know, and, so that's how I met him in the first, and then after that, and the way it worked was he put my name as his first friend in MySpace. Well, at that exact moment, if you look back at 2008, Val Kilmer was making music. So he was actually being reviewed by the MySpace Music Review. So it just so happens I'm his best friend or whatever in MySpace even for like 2 or 3 weeks. So one day I turn on MySpace Review and my song is playing, and it's just one of my top songs. And so that's how it started right there. After all those years, yeah.
What's the, so?
Awesome.
Is it a published song that we can find? Like, is it still
Well,
out
I
there?
mean, you can still look on MySpace, but it's not there anymore. But
Oh,
but it was called. It's still there, but you can't play it. It sucks. But
Right.
it was called
Right.
Revolution. It was called
Okay.
Revolution. See, that's the thing. It was. I was very antisocial when it came because it was Obama year, and I didn't trust none of them. And so I guess even back then, I was just. I mean, left wing, right wing, same bird. This is how I feel today.
same.
Um, so, so, um, so yeah, so I didn't trust the government. So all my music reflected God and revolution and waking up the sheep. And so, and I rap so fast. If you listen to any of my music, so nobody can understand what I was saying, but the beat was awesome and it had electric guitar, so it just took off. And I had a lot of
Like
plays,
Twister.
but yeah, but at some point people, I guess, started hearing the words. And
Yep.
so once they heard the words, I was banned. But by that point, I was living in New York. Uh, so to this day, I still make very controversial music. But see, I kind of focus it more towards God and the XRPL, so it works out.
Fire.
But yeah, so yeah, that's where my Val Kilmer thing came in. And so years later, so I'm on the road, and it's just a whole story about what happened. I mean, I went from Bangor, Maine, and I'm from Louisiana. I've never seen anything but muddy water and bayous and crawfish. And then all of a sudden, I'm in New York, and I'm in Seneca Falls, which is where they filmed "It's a Wonderful Life."
Yeah.
And it wasn't wonderful. It wasn't wonderful there, though. The only mountain there was a trash mountain. It was terrible. I had a long journey over probably 5.5 years, and we went from Maine to Florida over and over, probably for 5 years. So I've seen the whole country. I know the East Coast like the back of my hand, and wherever. I mean, you could tell me where you live on the East Coast. I've been to your hometown. It's a long story. So, but I'm home now, and somehow I ended up here.
Were you traveling singing? Is that what you were when you said you were traveling around? Were you doing something with music at that time, or carpentry, or what?
So, really don't know how to say a lot of this. So after the Val Kilmer thing, um, I sold everything I owned in Louisiana, and I hugged my mom for the last time. I never saw her again in person. And I moved to New York, to Seneca Falls. And I was there about 2 weeks, and I was cleaning carpet in a hotel because I was like, we're going to do it. We always talked about moving some off. So I took a carpet. We took a 1986 GMC Jimmy, my little 3-year-old daughter, and Wendy, who's still here with me today, and we packed up. We sold everything we owned and put the rest in storage, and just drove to Seneca Falls, and that's where we ended up. And I'm a hustler, so I took my carpet cleaning machine, loaded up that Jimmy that made it to New York. It was in good shape when it left, and so I just went from door to door, and I got carpet jobs, and I was cleaning a hotel, and there was this guy there. It was Indian people, of course, the Patels. They own every hotel, and so, but I can't remember the guy's name now. I think it was Vance. But he came into the room I was cleaning, and he said, "How would you like to make $1,450 a day?" And who would say no? And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." And so he introduced me. The hotel room next door, I met Danny Crump Sr. and Danny Crump Jr. If you look them up, Danny Crump Jr. was the lead guitarist for Hank Williams Sr. until he died. And Danny Crump Jr. is a NASCAR driver, number 52. Sadly he passed away, but they hired me that day. And what they were doing, they were selling equipment for disasters. So my first day, I show up, and they give me a truck with equipment in it. And so they're all having a meeting, and I was like, I don't do meetings. And so people listen to me. I'm 6'4". I'm taller than most people, and they were like, okay, you don't do meetings. So I took that truck, and I went about 4 miles down the road, and I saw a guy working on an air conditioner. I pull in, and I say, I tell him my pitch, whatever. I don't even know the pitch because I didn't go to the meeting. And the guy wrote me a check. The guy wrote me a check for it. Or no, he gave me cash. He had it on him. And so he gave me $4,000 or something close to that. And I took it back to the hotel. They're coming out of the meeting, and my truck's empty. They're like, "What'd you do with the equipment?" And I said, "I sold it." And so that kind of sucked me in because I had that money. I went back and showed Wendy this money. I was like, "Look what I made immediately." And so I sold my, yeah, it was probably a terrible idea. It's a long story, but in the end, I end up, yeah, it was probably, we'll talk about that another day. But so for 5 years I was there. I was like their number one guy. But what was interesting is I got to spend a lot of time alone, and I got to spend a lot of time like getting to know God, because just talking to God, and I could talk a lot, especially when I was young. So I had an opportunity to get to know him, and he took me to places and showed me things that nobody else will ever get to see, and it's things I can't even talk about to normal people. And so so it was a very interesting story, and eventually I got to come home, and when I did, um, I told you that already, but yeah, that's how I got here. Um, so yeah.
That's a great story, man. That's a great that's probably one of the best origin stories I've heard thus far
Yeah.
from the XRP community, man. Seriously, that's great. I would love to hear more of your stories, whatever
I
you're able to share. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.